Hey, it's Joel from PSC Energy. Today we want to talk about an important update coming to Tesla Powerwall 2 battery installations in Australia. Basically, Tesla has announced that from later this year at some point, the Tesla Powerwall 3 will become backwards compatible with existing Powerwall 2 installations. Let's get into the details. So, a bit of background first. The Powerwall 2 battery from Tesla has been around for just under 10 years in the Australian market. It's a very popular, very high quality system. From August 2025 last year, the CEW certification for the Powerwall 2 lapsed. And what that means is the Powerwall 2 is no longer able to be installed legally and compliantly in Australia. It was replaced with the Powerwall 3. And basically, currently if you have a Powerwall 2 installation, you actually can't add any more additional battery storage onto it because the Powerwall 3 is not backwards compatible, and obviously you can't buy a Powerwall 2 anymore. So since then it's been impossible to add additional storage unless you were looking at ripping off your existing investment and replacing it with a brand new battery system. Not the best option for most people. So what's changing? Basically, as I said, Tesla has announced that from June this year, roughly, it's tentative, might change, there will be a software update that is coming to the Powerwall 3 that will make it backwards compatible with Powerwall 2 installations. So basically now you can finally add more storage and claim that federal battery rebate for additional batteries onto a Powerwall 2 installation. And for a lot of people, if you have a Powerwall 2, particularly early adopters, you actually weren't in a position where you could claim the federal battery rebate because there's only about a month window where the rebate had started and the certification was still around. So you can finally claim more rebate and add more storage. Now, it's a little bit tricky. One of the reasons it's taken so long for Tesla to announce this change is that there's a few issues with compliance and compatibility between the 3 and the 2. So we'll talk about that in a bit more detail here. So basically, if you've had a Powerwall 2, obviously, ideally anyway, it was installed in a compliant manner, but those compliance rules have changed quite a lot, particularly since the introduction of the rebate. So the first thing that's changed is backup circuit compliance. So if you have a Powerwall 2 install already, you would have had a backup channel installed. So what that means is in a blackout, things like your lights, your fridge, a few power circuits, they're protected and they function off the battery in a blackout. Now at the time, a lot of installers were installing the backup channel onto RCBO circuit breakers. And there's a few different types of RCBOs out there. Type AC is a very common one. And basically ASNZ 3000, which is the electrical compliance standard in Australia, has changed and now it dictates that you must have a type A RCBO circuit breaker for it to be compliant. So what that means is if you have a Powerwall 2 install with backup enabled, there's a very good chance that we're going to have to upgrade the circuit breakers from type AC to type A to make sure the Powerwall 3 is legal and compliant with the latest standards. Also, the battery clearance zoning rules have changed a little bit over time. Unless you're a very early adopter, your current install is probably compliant. But anyways, most batteries these days, you will need a 600mm clearance from any windows, doors, and what are called non-associated appliances. So things like your hot water system, air conditioning, NBN, gas, those things we need clearance from. All right, so it's probably best to talk to your installer or your consultant about that if you have any concerns. But the big one that we're seeing a lot is garage and carport installations. So in a lot of cases, if you have an existing Powerwall 2, it may have been installed in your garage and you don't have any sort of parking bollard in front of it. That was compliant at the time, but it's since changed. Now, today, if we install a battery, you must have a parking bollard and a smoke detector installed to make it compliant. So with all of these rules, it's a bit of a weird one with the Powerwall 3 and the 2. The way that the Powerwall 3 works is it overrules the Powerwall 2. It becomes the master battery on site and the Powerwall 2 follows it. So from a compliance perspective, we're sort of tinkering, updating the Powerwall 2 installation. And if you're doing that, you have to bring that up to compliance as well. So simply put, if we're doing a Powerwall 3 and you have a Powerwall 2 in your garage, and we did a 3 outside, we still need to put a bollard in your garage in front of the existing Powerwall 2 in order for the whole job to be compliant. It's a bit tricky, so make sure you talk to your installer or consultant about that one. The other thing is compatibility with Powerwall 2 sites. In most cases, it is compatible, apart from those compliance rules that we just discussed, but there's two big things that we're seeing that you need to be aware of. The first is the Tesla Gateway unit. So the Tesla Gateway unit, it's on all Powerwall installations. It's the part of the system that enables blackout protection and Wi-Fi connectivity. So basically there's two gateway units that were released in the time of the Powerwall 2. That's the Gateway 1 and the Gateway 2. And the Powerwall 3 only works if you have a Gateway 2 on your home. So if you have a Gateway 1, you are going to have to pay an additional cost to get that upgraded to a Gateway 2 to make this whole thing work. The other thing is Neurio meters. If you haven't heard of it, you probably don't need to worry about it. But if you are aware that you have a Neurio meter on your Powerwall 2 installation, it's typically rural installations that have this. It's a remote meter that helps the solar consumption monitoring. The Powerwall 3 is not compatible with the Neurio meter. It must be upgraded to Tesla's new Tesla Energy meter. And again, there's an additional cost associated with that. So best to talk to your consultant or installer to sort of iron that out, but those are the rough sort of things that we're seeing at the moment. Next is system configuration limits. So there's a few things we need to sort of confirm with your existing site to make sure that the Powerwall 3 is compatible. These aren't more compliance or rule changes there, it's just how the Powerwall 3 interacts with the two. So for example, the Powerwall 3 cannot be installed on a site with more than 4 Powerwall 2 units. It just doesn't work. And as I said before, the Powerwall 3 becomes the leader and the Powerwall 2s become the followers. So the 3 basically does your net metering, if you like, and it dictates how the batteries charge and where the energy is dispersed to when you're discharging. Another configuration limit is that you can only have one Powerwall 3 master unit and a maximum of 3 expansion units tied to that primary unit. So if you have a Powerwall 2, you might not be aware of this, but the Powerwall 3 has a slightly cheaper add-on battery option available for homeowners. And how it works is the master unit is the Powerwall 3 with the inverter inside of it. And then your expansion packs are battery-only add-ons with no inverter inside of it. They're a bit cheaper, a bit easier to install. But yeah, as I said, with the 3 and the backwards compatibility on the 2, you can only have one master unit and a maximum of 3 expansion units. If you hit that, you can't add any more, unfortunately. Blackout protection capabilities in most cases won't be increased, but you will obviously be able to access more storage in that blackout as you're adding additional battery storage to it. And then the last one is just with how the cabling interacts with the Powerwall 2, we do need to keep a clearance of 900 mil from the left side of the battery and 150 mil from the right side. That's literally because the cabling that connects the 3 to the 2, the comms cable, it enters from the left side of the Powerwall 2. So we need to leave that space there so we can actually connect it. Now, the main question a lot of people are asking is this right for me? So if you're watching this video, it probably is, realistically. The Powerwall 2 is obviously an older system now. If you're interested in this stuff, you probably have been already looking at battery storage, and as you know, you can't add any at the moment, but very soon you'll be able to. If you're unsure, there's a few things to consider. So obviously, future-proofing your existing battery installation and scaling it to meet your growing energy needs, that's a big thing at the moment, particularly with the way of the world, and electric vehicles are becoming more prevalent with our customers. So having an additional battery and increasing your storage will help offset some of that charging, which is a good thing. Adding additional battery capacity will also increase your longevity in a blackout. So if you are having a lot of blackouts in your area and they're particularly long blackouts, it might be a good idea to consider increasing that storage so you're not in blackouts for as long. But the big one at the moment is the additional inverter capacity that the 3 will add on to your existing install. So a lot of our customers are looking at virtual power plants, things like Amber, Glowbird, Ovo, and what they do is essentially you want to be buying and selling energy to the grid when it's attractive to do so. And increasing your inverter capacity actually increases the capacity at which you can buy and sell in a single time period. So that's a pretty good thing to do as well. If you want to buy more energy from Amber, for example, you'll be able to do that quicker with the additional battery as well. Right now, Tesla is also introducing a cashback promotion. So if you basically sign up with a Tesla Powerwall 3 installation and register it before 31st of June and get it installed before the 30th of September, you'll be eligible for a $750 cashback rebate per battery up to 2 units. And that can be masters and expansions, it doesn't really matter, just only 2. How that works is you're essentially getting a little Visa prepaid credit card at the time of installation, and all you have to do is sign up and register before that cutoff at the end of June. This offer is also stackable with the Cheaper Home Batteries program, which is pretty exciting, as right now you can get the biggest savings ever on a Tesla battery system. That's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to keep up to date with the latest in solar and battery technology, feel free to give us a like and subscribe. And also, if you're thinking about solar and battery for your own home, be sure to check out our website and ask for a free quote today.